Salut YouTube. À ta grande détresse, on va pas jouer à un jeu de plateau, on va faire des quêtes secondaires. On commence par celle-là. Non, celle-là. Bonsoir monsieur. Je t'arcon. Windows change l'heure de ton ordi 3 fois par jour depuis 4 jours. C'est pas normal ça. C'est pas normal ça. J'en ai rien à foutre de ton frère, mais je vais t'aider quand même.
Just take me through it.
Apologies. My name is Jomar. I'm the weapons officer for this expedition. It's my job to ensure the troops are armed and prepared for what's out there. And I've failed to do so. My younger brother, Oris, his unit was sent to scout the tower on the northern side of the island. They should have returned by now. The Overseer has denied my request for a search party, and defying him would mean dismissal. Or worse.
You think they might be alive?
Vous avez trouvé ton frère, c'est ça?
I've been obsessed with San Francisco ever since I can remember. He jumped at the chance to join this expedition. I have to believe that fate isn't cruel enough to make this place his tomb. If you help me, I'll get you access to any weapon in my stock.
If I make my way up north, I'll look for your brother.
Thank you. If it helps, my brother carried an ancestral relic with him. I believe your focus might be able to pick it up.
What kind of relic?
A small metal piece dangling from a chain, with a hologram of San Francisco. Which is why my brother always had it with him. The diviners speculated it was some kind of beacon, inviting the ancestors to visit the city.
Speculated. So there was data on it they couldn't read.
It was deemed lost knowledge. If my brother truly is gone, could you maybe bring the relic back for me? It meant so much to Oris. I'd like to keep it safe. For him.
Of course.
La quête du souvenir. Allons faire ça. Hein. Allons faire la quête du souvenir. C'est où la quête du souvenir? Mais c'est au nord-nord. Oh, génial. Ah non, c'est bon, c'est des ailes de lion. J'ai cru que c'était un oiseau tempête. Et donc, j'ai cru que j'allais taper un énorme scandale. Ça va. On va quand même se TP. Hein. Allô? À l'œil? S'il te plaît, arrête d'être chiante, merci. Le jet lag de l'ordinaire là. Bon, la pile interne qui est morte. J'arrive plus à détecter l'heure. Fini. T'as un Windows, tu peux pas mettre l'heure par internet? Oh, c'est la tour. Il y a des ailes, elles sont des lions. Sblom, sblom, sblom. Je garde pas en mémoire? Ok. Mais à chaque reboot, normalement, ton ordi va chercher l'heure sur le net. Il doit y avoir pouvoir moyen de contourner ce problème, non? S'il faut le faire manuellement, j'avoue que c'est chiant. Il y a un feu dans le coin? Il n'y a pas de feu. Faut que je cherche quoi en fait? C'est quoi l'objectif? Chercher les éclaireurs. De toute façon, ils sont près de la tour. Hein. Je sais pas pourquoi j'essaye de... Donc après, il y a des ruines là-bas. Où est-ce que je viens de penser? Normalement, ton heure se règle auto par le net. Les réglages, ça me change. Oui, c'est ce que je viens de penser. Ok. Pardon. Je sais pas lire. Ah ouais, totalement. Moi, je suis d'accord. Oh! Oh, c'est loose! Merci à tous d'avoir cru en moi. Et vous trouvez pas ça trop bien quand les machines elles glitchent dans les murs? En vrai? Ah, moi aussi d'ailleurs. Moi c'est ce que je préfère dans les jeux vidéo. D'accord, elle a glitché à travers le mur, elle est passée sur la plage. Let's go. Je passe un moment exquis en tout cas, sachez-le. Sur ce jeu, c'est vraiment un plaisir. Chaque seconde de combat de Horizon est un plaisir. C'est dommage de faire un jeu aussi bien et de foirer et de faire des combats à haut niveau qui sont aussi chiants. En fait, je pense que c'est trop des sacs à PV les ennemis aussi. Bon, arrête. On a compris. Moi aussi, je sais faire. Ah, mais c'est des suprêmes en plus, du coup, ils ont... Et c'est même plus des PV qu'ils ont. Alors, en moins. S'occuper des petites merdes déjà. Enfin, peut-être. Si Dieu le veut, hein, bien sûr. Oh, c'est du gel. C'est incroyable. C'est trop bien en vrai. Merci à toi de me mettre du gel partout. Ah, j'ai bientôt plus de vie. Ah, trop bien. Sympa ça. Ah, il y en a un autre. Ok, trop bien. Vraiment trop bien. Je passe un plaisir de fou là. Comment j'ai fait pour... Il y en a un, il est bientôt mort et il veut pas mourir. C'est quand même fou ça. Évidemment que je me fais gangbang par les deux en même temps, sinon c'est pas drôle. Oui, n'hésite pas. Hein. Excusez-moi, c'est l'heure passée sur le jeu de plateau là. Ça fait ressortir le plus mauvais en moi. En fait, ils rajoutent des frames d'invulnérabilité dans le jeu et ça devient le meilleur truc de combat. Hein. Heureusement, il y en a pas. Ils ont décidé que non. Ils ont décidé que tu te ferais toucher tout le temps. Dommage, hein. C'est un 10, mais aucune roulade ne te rend invulnérable. C'est en réalité un 2. Pas mal ça. Quand même. J'ai gagné. Ils sont me boot parce que ça fait trop longtemps que j'ai pas joué. Peut-être, hein, peut-être que c'est ça, ouais. C'est un peu triste parce que moi je l'aime bien. Ta ta la ta ta. Et dommage avec le mode difficile d'Horizon 1 et 2, c'est juste l'ajout de PC des mobs. J'aurais pu mettre un pattern en plus au moins et laisser la vie telle quelle. Non. Enfin, non. En vrai, non. Parce que rajouter des patterns, ça augmente pas... Ouais, je sais pas, non. Non, parce qu'ils ont déjà pas mal de patterns et tout. Non, en vrai, le vrai problème de Horizon, en fait, c'est pas... Enfin, c'est des sacs à pavés, les ennemis, ok, bon, bah ça peut être un problème. Moi, je trouve que c'est un problème. C'est pas très intéressant de faire durer un combat 4 heures. Mais le vrai problème des combats d'Horizon, en fait, c'est que juste les combats ne marchent pas, quoi. En fait, c'est trop flottant. Il n'y a aucune frame d'invulnérabilité pendant les attaques critiques ou ce genre de choses. Ça fait que tu peux te faire interrompre pendant que tu es dans une cinématique d'attaque critique et de prendre des giga dégâts. Ça, c'est absolument débile. Y a quoi d'autre qui est débile? Ouais, enfin, des fois les roulades passent, des fois elles passent pas. Tu sais pas trop pourquoi. Voilà. En fait, tout est pas précis. Et du coup, t'ajoutes du pas précis sur du pas précis sur du pas précis. En fait, tu te fais bolos H24 pour pas grand chose. Alors que t'as tout bien fait. Du coup, c'est horrible. Mais je reste frais.
There's no relic. Not sure if either of them are Oris. But maybe one of them dropped it as they fought off the machines? My focus might show me more. Huh. Nothing. Maybe...
Allez, dirigeons-nous vers la tour, là.
There. Maybe Oris escaped the machines. Better see where it leads.
Frame d'invulnérabilité, c'est mieux en game de genre. Ceci en pleine cinématique. Là, c'est une erreur débile. Frame d'invulnérabilité, c'est mieux en game de genre. Hein? Pas de frame d'invulnérabilité. Pas de frame d'invulnérabilité, c'est mieux dans les games de genre, tu veux dire? Bah pendant la roulade en fait. Ta roulade est censée être là où t'as tes frames d'invulnérabilité. C'est un peu comme Dark Souls quoi, finalement. Vous voyez? Là il devrait y avoir des frames là. Enfin elles y sont en fait, mais en fait elles sont tellement imprécises que... Enfin j'ai l'impression que ça marche pas. Mais vraiment, la plus grosse aberration, c'est que pendant que tu fais des coups critiques ou ce genre de choses, ça te déclenche une cinématique du coup, et tu peux te faire toucher pendant cette cinématique. Et je trouve ça abusé. Hola Dranem. ¿Qué tal muy bien? ¿Y tú?
No relic. Can't be Jomar's brother.
Non, s'ils font un Horizon 3, ce qui arrivera certainement, en vrai, travaillez vos combats quoi. Faites un truc, rajoutez des frames d'invulnérabilité, arrêtez de nous casser les couilles pendant les cinématiques, pendant les coups critiques. Et là, votre jeu sera peut-être jouable en mode de difficulté max.
Machine. It looks like it gave chase, but Oris fought it off.
Elle est là, la tour. Ouais.
Guess there are more cauldrons out there.
Il y a des creusets? Non, il n'y a pas de creuset, c'est juste pour l'override. Ta ta da. J'aimerais ne pas battre d'ailes des lions. Vais-je y arriver? Ça paraît bien parti, hein. Puis escalader la tour sans me faire repérer. La réponse est non. Vu que c'est le même problème depuis le 1, je pense que le 3 change pas à ce niveau-là. Moi j'ai espoir, hein. Ils peuvent changer les trucs. J'ai foi en eux. J'ai foi. C'est le moment où il y a des creusets mais pas de chevaliers du creuset. C'est un mauvais jeu de toute façon. Laissez les chevaliers du creuset là où ils sont. C'est-à-dire... dans leur jeu de merde là. Excusez-moi, comment on monte? C'est sérieux ça? Ah, on monte vers l'intérieur, ok. J'avais oublié les contrôles de jeu. Elle monte à 4 pattes les escaliers. C'est pas très pratique, hein. Peut-être parce que je suis accroupi.
Dead end. Maybe if I go outside, I can find another way up. Nothing to see here.
Ah, il y a une grosse bestiole en haut.
Another close one.
Elle est partie.
This must be Horus. But there's only one way to be sure. I better check for the relic.
C'est toi, bro?
The relic. And my focus picked up data on it. It's not a beacon, it's a tourist map of San Francisco. If the Quen could read this, they wouldn't need to send scouts out blind. I should tell Alva.
Aloy, I'm here.
Elle m'a fait peur.
I found some data I think Bohai might be interested in seeing. I'm sending it to you now.
I'll pass it along.
Thanks. I better take this relic back with me. Give it back to Jomar. Along with the bad news.
Retournez voir Jomar. J'ai encore des TP. S'il te plaît, dis-moi que oui. J'en ai plus. Je vais mourir. J'en rachète. Je sais pas où on en achète. Je suis tombé. Mais arrête de tomber! Hop. Elle est méchante, elle fait que tomber. Je crois que je suis bloqué. Je crois que je suis plus bloqué. Faut aller de quel côté? De l'autre, à l'opposé, génial. Faut aller là-bas. Adios! Évidemment que je me suis fait repérer. C'est pas moi. C'est pas moi. Je suis pas là. C'est pas moi. C'est quoi ça là-bas? J'ai pas envie de savoir, je pense. C'est des chevaliers du creuset mais sans creuset. Normalement, il n'y a pas de chevalier dans le jeu. Peut-être à la fin du jeu. Qui sait? Vous vous rendez compte que l'autre est là-bas au fond et il est encore en train de me courir après. C'est quand même un jeu de fou ça. Vous pensez qu'un jour il va perdre l'aggro? J'ai l'impression que oui. J'ai oublié là-bas, donc on va tout prendre dans la réserve. Il est où le feu déjà? Là-bas. Boum, retournons voir Jomar. J'ai trouvé ton frère, il est dead.
I'm sorry.
How did he die?
The tower was a sunwing nest. He went in there looking for cover, but he was holding on to that when I found him.
Horus.
I read the data on it. It had a map that can help your people get the lay of the land without risking more scouts. All of us sharing it with Bohai right now. It's a good thing your brother protected it.
I'd trade all the data in the legacy to have my little brother back. But I'm glad that something meaningful came from his death. As promised, you now have access to my weapon stock. If you bring me the right resources, I can make you anything you see there. Actually, why don't you give this a try? One of our best. And if it's of use, you know where to find more.
Thank you. I'm really sorry for your loss.
I know you are. And I'm grateful.
Bisous. La quête est terminado. J'ai un lost cord à bonbonne d'élite. Faut qu'on déplace les points de compétence. Y a quoi qu'on n'a pas fini? C'est là? On était dessus. Zbloop. Ah, plus de points de compétence. Du coup, c'est quoi tes affaires? C'est que des armes nulles. Pack de déplacement rapide. Dans le premier, on pouvait passer un moment débloquer un pack de déplacement qui était infini. J'ai l'impression que dans le jeu, c'est impossible. Ce qui fait donc un jeu nul. On prend 15. Ok, deuxième quête de la zone. Bonsoir.
Harriam, we're never getting that gyro compass back. We're
Un
stuck
gyro compas.
for good.
The ancestor reborn.
May we be led to truth.
Just, Aloy, what's this I hear about you never going back home?
Our navigational ships.
They're all gone. Destroyed by storms and reefs, and with them the one instrument we need to guide us across the ocean.
There is one ship that might still hold a working gyro compass.
But it's beyond our reach, beached on an island surrounded by deadly currents. No compass, no way home, no way back to those we should have never left behind in the first place.
Christia.
Abandonné?
You mentioned you left someone behind.
C'est exactement ça, Midova.
Leandra. She works the field in the Great Delta. When I was chosen for this mission, she begged me not to come. She was scared I wouldn't return. And like always, she was right. I left without saying goodbye, and now I won't ever see her again.
So you two are soldiers?
Navigators, actually. I'm Harriam, and this is Christia.
So you two know how to use this instrument?
The gyro compass. Only I know how to read it. The diviners trained me. Harriam was chosen to memorize the charts found in the legacy.
So you can't navigate the fleet without each other?
It is the Quen way. The greater the knowledge held by one person alone, the greater the risk it'll be used against the Empire, should we be captured by our enemies.
Your tribe sure is cautious. So what is this gyro compass you're looking for?
It's a device used by the ancestors to help pinpoint a ship's location, but it only works if the readings are compared to a chart.
How'd you get your hands on something like that?
I guess it's safe to tell you since you carry the gift of the ancestors. The diviners found them on ancient vessels back in our homeland and modified them so we
Cette tribu, ils ont tous des vêtements blancs avec des trous.
we're at the mercy of the seas.
Ils vont ramener le jean à trous, je pense.
You said what you need is on a ship somewhere.
Yes. The ship we were stationed on. The night we approached landfall, a sudden squall hit the fleet. While some ships managed to find safe harbor here, ours ran aground. The crew abandoned ship, hoping the ocean would spare us.
I thought we'd drown for sure. Thank the ancestors we somehow got washed up on a beach southwest of here. Scouts found us and brought us to landfall. Not that it matters. The only ship with the gyro compass is grounded and surrounded by deadly currents.
Je vais y aller.
Not unless you can fly.
I can't do that. But if I find a way, I'll come back.
She's an ancestor reborn. Maybe she really can.
Je sais pas voler encore.
I will not let myself hope just yet, but I thank you for your kindness.
finally...
Les LD10 soient terminées. Ok. Donc je peux pas faire cette quête. Let's go. Ce qui fut perdu, je peux retourner parler à Kotalo. Les LD10 doivent être terminés aussi. Ça c'est mort. Je crois qu'on est parti pour tunnel. Hein. Je crois qu'on est parti pour tunnel de dialogue. On va retourner à la base et c'est tunnel de dialogue là.
Don't think I can get to that ship. At least, not now.
Ok. Sûrement qu'une tornade d'X-Men t'apprenne à voler avant. Je pense, hein. C'est le seul moyen si vous voulez mon avis, mais bon. Parler au maître de la fosse. De toute façon, on n'a pas d'autres quêtes secondaires, hein. Tout est fait sinon. J'ai emmené toutes les reliques à tout le monde. J'ai un ornement à lui donner là. Bizarre. Attendez, on va aller voir. J'ai peut-être un ornement à lui donner. À Michel à Las Vegas. Mince, Las Vegas, c'est là. Sûrement que Tornade d'X-Men t'apprête à voler audio avant, du coup, peut-être. Mais du coup, ça veut dire que dans le jeu, on va voler, passer un moment. Ça va être trop bien, ça. Yo, Michel, il est en haut. Bonsoir.
Hey, Loy. Lots of bats still fluttering about. One scared Abaddon so bad, he almost chucked his shards. I can take any ornaments off your hands, if you found any.
J'avais trouvé.
Here.
So, did you want to make some changes around here?
Oui. Mais je sais pas ce que c'est, les nouveaux. Ah, Saint-Valentin, c'est nouveau, non? Ah non, c'est le nouvel an, peut-être.
Let's go with this one.
I'll get right to it. Fireworks like Morelands. And all that other stuff floating around. Is that snow?
Don't
C'est vraiment les pires hologrammes.
No.
Hail?
I think it's just sparkles.
Sparkles, bro. And I see fire. Il est où le feu? Il est là. C'est pas du tout le bon feu de camp où je vais. C'est pas grave.
All that, but thanks.
C'est pas grave. C'est moi ou je suis aveugle? Ah, il est là. Oh putain. Les contrôles de jeu, des fois. Fleur de métal. Ça me donne envie de me tabasser les glawines. Mais tranquille. Retour à la base. Splooch. Bonsoir, je suis à la base. Bonsoir les amis.
Apparently it tastes worse the longer it takes to be delivered. Or something like that.
Maybe you can find the recipe?
I think it was just flat bread with cheese and some sauce.
I like it already.
Accrochez-vous, c'est le moment du tunnel de dialogue.
There she is.
Heard you had an interesting time at Thebes.
Maniacs, lava. What's not to like?
I'll remember that next time I go traveling.
At least I got what we needed to trap Hephaestus.
Good thing I got my gear ready then.
Ton entraînement.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Erend. Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
Il y a pas tant de dialogue, c'est pas mal ça.
I should get going.
As soon as you want us heading out to those cauldrons.
I'll give you the heads up.
Soir.
From the look on your face, I'd say the mission was a success.
I got Omega clearance. Is everyone ready to head out to Cauldron Gemini?
As soon as you give the word.
Did Alva make it here all right?
Our new Quen friend. The moment she laid eyes on the archives, she jumped on them like a long leg.
Sounds about right. Once Gaia is back up and running, I expect you to put all your training to good use.
The seeds have been planted. All they need is a chance to bloom. What? I thought that was pretty good. Zoe liked it.
I'm glad you and Zoe found each other.
Don't forget, you're to blame for that.
Now that I have Omega clearance, we can grab Hephaestus and finally have the advantage over the Zeniths.
Can't wait to see their faces as they stare down a bunch of charging Thunderjaws.
Better them than us, for once. I should go get this to Gaia.
Of course.
On va enfin affronter les Zéniths. Les X-Men. Zo.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Have you met our new Quen guest yet?
I could barely keep up as she gave herself a tour of the base. Varl gave her a new focus. Though when he told her she was free to access all the data we had here, she turned so pale I thought she'd faint on the spot. We showed her to the archive room so she could see for herself. She hasn't left the place since.
Sounds like Alva. Read anything interesting lately?
I found out the old ones use leaf infusions like the Utaru do. Tea, they call it. Apparently it helped soothe them. That and some sort of scented wax they used to cleanse their aura. Plus something called bubble baths.
Oh, un bain moussant, ça fait si longtemps.
Singing.
Je prendrais bien un bain là. J'ai pas de baignoire chez moi. Je suis un peu trop triste.
Anything interesting happen while I was away?
Aaron told us how you tracked down the Oseram supplying Regala with machines. In fact, he's quite adamant about relating the tale at least twice a day. But I can tell it meant a lot that you asked for his help.
I wouldn't have been able to track them down if it wasn't for him. How are things with everyone?
Slightly quieter. Aaron's been busy scouring data on his newest obsession. Apparently the old ones wrestled machines as some kind of performance. Called it metal versus meat. A must-see battle between steel and flesh, as Aaron likes to put it. You'd think we have enough of that going around as it is.
Adieu.
To get going.
Right. You've retrieved the Omega clearance. That means we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. I'll make sure my gear's ready.
Bonsoir. Tu es la nouvelle.
Aloy!
Right to work, I see.
There's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's Hephaestus, and...
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened.
Crash ta Valda, Alva. Marrant ça.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the overseers would actually let us study.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them. But I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
I imagine you don't know anyone here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because one of your friends is, well, another you. Not that you are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobek, but even so, you're different.
Yeah, we are. I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. They've all been extremely welcoming. And they share the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely. It's refreshing. Back home, diviners can only share data with the permission from the overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Oh la vache, c'est le tunnel là. Parle-moi des Zéniths déjà.
You mentioned Eric Visser? How do you know about him?
The Zenith who tried to kill you? He is known to the Quen as the Protector. Combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors. But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
Il y a un X-Men qui s'appelle Eric. C'est Magneto.
If only the overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena.
C'est vrai qu'il y en a qui s'appelle Gérard.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever legacy they left behind, the diviners haven't...
Boss de fin d'Horizon, Gérard.
Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy. And many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire. Like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
Oh, la censure.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning, with the CO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Farrow, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Farrow, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Pharaoh spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named Sio, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire, the living embodiment of Ted Pharaoh, the Renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse, but nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door, and more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CEO became was a complete perversion of what principal diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
Oh, hi!
So, Bohai, your overseer. Will he run things better than CEO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right. The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners. Peasants, really.
La
When
plebe.
I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
That sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
On a fini les dialogues.
I need to get going.
Incroyable.
but if you need anything,
Enfin, avec elle.
need is to help you succeed in your mission. The plan Gaia told me about to capture Hephaestus, it will help set things right.
I hope so.
Then I will do whatever I can. I promise.
Merci beaucoup, Alva. Adieu. On parle à Kitalo maintenant. Il doit avoir son nouveau bras en plus, là. Pas encore.
Aloy, well met. We've been briefed on our mission, and are ready whenever you wish to head to Cauldron Gemini.
Were you able to finish the new arm Gaia was helping you with?
Indeed. I was hoping we could discuss it, if you have a moment.
Faut tester le bras.
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more about the world of the Old Ones.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for, and learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was wiped out by a mistake. A single miscalculation. There is no glory or honor in such a fate. Only hubris and pointless death.
That about sums it up. Have you spoken with Alva?
The Quen is peculiar. Nothing like a Tenakth. Her mind is sharp, that much is certain. But it's hard to imagine her surviving in the wilds.
Trust me, she's tougher than she looks.
I will take your word for it.
You wanted to talk about your arm?
Indeed. It's time to test it. And I want you to be there.
Okay. How are we doing this?
Not how. Where? Will you meet me where we felled Regalla's tremor tusk? Right where the river bends?
Sure, if you want, but I'm not sure I understand.
You'll see when we get there. I promise.
Then I'll let you know when I get close.
You have my thanks, Aloy.
Okay.
I have to go now.
Then do not let me keep you.
Like I said, I'll call you when I'm close to Regalla's old outpost near the bulwark.
May the Ten guide your way.
Y a plus qu'à aller parler à Micheline. Qui est en dessous. On devrait être bon. Elle veut plus me parler? Pourquoi elle a fermé la porte? On parlera pas à Micheline. On va parler à Gaïa du coup.
Welcome back.
Welcome toi. Allô?
Here we go. All drones are reconnected to the dome now.
Et nous un petit environnement sympa là. Ah, c'est sympa. Là on voyage. Bon.
I know your experience in Thebes was unsettling, but we have a new problem.
Did something go wrong with Beta and the rig? Will we be able to transport you to Gemini?
The rig is complete. The problem is Hephaestus itself. It has accelerated its proliferation throughout the Cauldron network, increasing its power.
But with your sub-functions restored, we can still succeed, right?
Correct. But the net effect is that absorbing Hephaestus will take longer than previously calculated.
How long?
Even with Omega clearance, my current estimate is that the merge will take 35 hours.
And each hour increases the risk of detection by the Zeniths. 2 cores. 2 overrides. What if the merge were carried out by 2 clones of Elizabeth Sobek, both armed with Omega clearance? How long then? Half the time?
Hephaestus would be unprepared for the simultaneous labor of 2 operators, in addition to obvious synergetic efficiencies. Calculating. It would reduce the merge time to approximately 4.5 hours.
What the fuck? On a trouvé la fibre?
Varl, it looks like we're gonna need Beta at Gemini. Do you think you can convince her?
I don't know, but I'll try.
What about our diversion? Are the pulse generators ready?
Only a final test remains. I am confident that if fired in proximity to other cauldrons, the pulses will mask our activities at Gemini from the zeniths.
Good. As long as Aaron can operate one without shooting himself in the face.
Aloy, you better get down here. Beta's in bad shape.
Okay.
Ça va pas avec Beta? Dans 2 secondes, j'ai des dialogues.
I believe Varl is still waiting for you, outside Beta's room.
I know. I just wanted to talk about something else first.
As you wish.
The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded the Earth with a variety of animal species. Eleuthia was responsible for gestating, nurturing, and acculturating a new generation of human beings. Apollo was tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives of human knowledge and cultural achievements. Unfortunately, all archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February, 2066, by order of Ted Faro.
Ted. Guess he got what he deserved, in the end.
Yes. An igneous conclusion to his pathological narcissism, impulsive tendencies, and instability.
All 3 of the missing functions have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
Restoring their remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density, empowering my overall function. Unfortunately, as we now know they are in the possession of Far Zenith, attaining them in the short term is very likely impossible.
I guess our best shot at recovering them is by taking over the Zenith base. But we'll need Hephaestus and a bunch of combat machines to do that.
Correct.
Ok.
How's all of us settling in?
As soon as she arrived, Alva was eager to study the data in the archive. A particular file soon caught her attention. Information about a machine assistant devoted to keeping living spaces neat and orderly. I informed her that once I am empowered with the abilities of Hephaestus, I may be able to design such a machine.
I'm sure she'll like that. So our plan to capture Hephaestus. Let's go over it again.
As you wish. Thanks to Beta's test, we now know that Hephaestus will not respond to your Alpha clearance.
Which is why I got Ted Faro's Omega clearance.
Correct. While you were gone, Beta constructed the transport rig and pulse generators. When we get to Gemini, I will need to be installed on one of the facility's cores. The second core is for Hephaestus. Using Omega clearance will allow you to trap it.
And then you'll be able to absorb it.
Not quite. You will need to manually remove Hephaestus's malicious code before the merge.
How long will that take?
Because the work will be split between you and Beta, it will take approximately 4.5 hours.
And during that time, the others will create a distraction for us using the pulse generators, right?
Correct. They will each take position at a cauldron door and fire off their device. The energy surge should mask our activities until the merge is complete.
And then we'll have everything we need to defeat the Zeniths. Sounds like a plan. So I, found Thebes. What do you think Ted would have done if his life extension treatments had worked?
It seems he convinced himself it was his duty to guide future humans. Given the tribal nature of new humans, and his ability to use Omega clearance on the terraforming system, I imagine he would have convinced one or more tribes to worship him as their patriarchal deity.
Okay. Yep, glad that didn't happen. Aside from Gaia Prime and Thebes, there was one other underground facility that was sealed before the Pharaoh Plague reached it. Elysium. The place where Zero Dawn's staff and their families went to live out their lives. Do you know what happened to it?
Elysium was designed to provide life support for 100 years. My data indicates the facility went offline well before then.
Did the Pharaoh Plague find them?
Unknown. My connection to the facility was abruptly severed.
D'accord. Peut-être dans Horizon 3, on trouvera ça?
I'll be on my way.
I wish you safe travels.
Allons voir Beta. Ça n'en finit jamais de pas finir, les dialogues. Oh, un bon tunnel quand on est ici. Je check que plus personne ici n'a de dialogue. Non, c'est bon. On descend. Du niaon, niaon, miaon.
Aloy.
Let's go.
I tried, but it's impossible. I don't think anything will convince her to go.
We don't have a choice.
Good luck.
Beta, you have to come with us. It's the only way. It's one mission. The most important one. We need you. Tell me why you won't go. What if they take me back? Alone, in a cell again. Their slave. Forever.
Trouve le courage ou les chances de réussite.
The only way we can end the risk of that happening is by stopping the Zeniths for good. And in order to do that, we have to get Hephaestus. The Zeniths are a threat to everyone, Beta, not just you. So find your courage. That's easy for you to say. You still have no idea what they're capable of. I told you from the beginning we'll never beat them. It's hopeless. Beta. Leave me alone! You don't understand!
J'ai fail.
You're right. I don't understand. We have the same genes, the same mind, the same heart. So why can't you find the strength to do what has to be done? Like Elizabeth would. Don't you think I've thought about that? I don't know what piece of Elizabeth I'm missing. I don't know what you have that I don't. I look through all the data from your focus. You were raised as an outcast, shunned, and isolated just like me, so what's the difference? What's my defect?
Je sais pas si Kate Bush ça marcherait là. Hein. Je pense qu'elle est au fond du trou. Elle va se ressaisir, elle va venir nous aider, mais... Mais que futur, quoi. Elle a tendance à bloquer un peu, hein. Je vais pas le refaire parce que vous allez me détester.
Beta. Look, it's not a piece of Elizabeth. The difference is, I had him.
C'est papa.
Frost. He raised you, trained you, but he was never warm or loving. The day he died, the day he gave you that charm, he was going to abandon you. He wanted me to embrace the tribe. But then he gave his life for mine. He loved me in his own way. And that was enough. What did it feel like? It was like having a strength that was always there. It's still there. Even now I hear him in my head when things get bad. But it looks impossible. Look deeper. And then fight like you can win.
Adieu. Il part.
You don't have to go on the mission. We'll find another way. I'll go. You're right. I'll only be safe from them when we succeed. But you have to promise me one thing. Yes, of course. If it goes bad, if the Zeniths find us, I don't want to be their slave again. Do you understand? Okay. Promise? I promise. I could use as much time as you can give me to study up on the merge, to make it as efficient as possible.
Et enfin arrivé à s'entendre, après 80 heures de jeu.
I'll be ready when you are. I swear.
Incroyable.
Whenever you are ready, come speak to me and I'll ask the others to make final preparations for the mission.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I am. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Il y a plein de nouveaux dialogues. Putain, ça, en vrai, quand on est ici, c'est abusé. On est là pour 1 heure de dialogue à chaque fois. C'est abusé. Il y en a trop.
So you know about the extinction signal. It was speculation, but the only logical conclusion why Gaia suddenly self-destructed after operating.
Je vais finir les dialogues et je vais y aller moi aussi après.
Gaia would have only undertaken such a desperate course of action if it had detected a
Mais des bisous Midoba, merci d'être passé.
more dangerous than ceasing function altogether. I should have realized that she would also order the recreation of Elizabeth Sobek to rebuild her. Her plan almost failed. If I hadn't stumbled upon a focus as a kid, things would have been a lot different. You said the Zenith's colony in the Sirius system was destroyed. What happened? All I was ever told was that a natural disaster forced them to leave Sirius. I've speculated that it was an extrasolar object or a cataclysmic seismic event. Or maybe even an abnormally violent coronal mass ejection from Sirius A. Did the Zeniths tell you any details? Something that might narrow it down? They said the only thing that mattered was that they survived. First Earth.
Les X-Men étaient partis sur une autre planète et ils ont pété la planète et ils sont revenus et ils nous cassent les couilles. Super.
You said you spent years studying in a training interface. Was this archive you mentioned part of that? But only the parts I was permitted to access. Aristotle and Aspasia, the avatars of the archive. would assign me learning modules and evaluate my progress. Wait, those names. They were designed to be the virtual guides for the Apollo database. Before Ted Faro purged it. The Zeniths have a copy. So it still exists. And you got to learn from it. Only what was deemed pertinent to the mission. If I requested information outside of my parameters, my tutors would deny it. To have all that knowledge, just out of...
Des bisous Midoba. Bonne fin de dimanche.
Must have been frustrating. A little. So how goes setting up on the merge? Guy and I have added a function that will display a holographic interface to visualize the data stream from Hephaestus. It should make expunging its malicious code a little more efficient. That's great. Whatever we can do to cut down the merge time is going to increase our chance of success. Good work. I'll continue to search for other ways to speed up the process. But whenever you're ready, I am too. Alva's joined us. Have you two had a chance to talk? She told me she's not allowed to access a lot of the data her people have. Similar to the restrictions I had in my training interface. I told her that if we succeed at Gemini, then once we return, I'll help her search for more ways to help her family. Even though Gaia will fix the biosphere, it'll take time for farmlands to fully recover. So, I want to help speed things up. How so? Bioengineering of more resilient plant strains, novel crop production methods, equipment upgrades. Something that might help in the short term. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. So when you talk to the others, are you calling them over the focus? No, they'll come down here to visit. Like Erend. He's funny. But loud. I wish I could show him the media portal and the data channel. I think he would like the sports hollows. There was one where two people would criticize each other before wrestling to see who was stronger. It was bizarre and violent, but I think Erend would enjoy it. Yeah, you're right. I bet he would. I gotta go.
All right. Be safe.
On a fini les dialogues avec Beta. Alors il y a une quête secondaire à récupérer plus haut. Oh, ils ont tous des nouveaux dialogues. C'est abusé. En vrai, c'est abusé à quel point le jeu est trop bavard dans cette zone. En fait, il serait bavard de temps en temps, je veux bien. Mais en fait, juste t'arrives dans cette zone et tu te tapes 1 heure de dialogue et tu peux rien faire. Moi, ça me dérange pas, le lore du jeu est cool, mais en vrai, c'est trop long quand même. Faudrait le distiller.
Are you sure we shouldn't be checking up on you? Whatever went on between you and Beta sounded intense. Not that I'm judging. Forge knows all the screws flew loose every time Mercer and I fought.
I think we'll be fine from now on.
I'm glad to hear it.
After we get Hephaestus, we'll be taking the fight to the Zeniths. So, no more reading.
It wasn't that bad. Not really. Besides, going through all that data helped me realize something. You know, the soldiers, the ones that fought the Pharaoh machines so Gaia could be built, they were fighting a battle that couldn't be won. Not with all the weapons in the world. I think most of them realized that, whether anyone said it or not. They still did it, though. They bought time for all the eggheads working to save the future. Our future. As long as I can do that for you, I'll consider myself a success.
Thank you, Erend. I'm glad you're with me.
J'apprécie l'effort, Nirla, merci.
Anybody take you up on that ale you brought yet?
Zoe can't stand the smell of it. I tried Alva, but I don't think she knows what taking a break means. And I'm not putting Varl anywhere near that stuff after that victory party in Meridian.
What about Catalo?
Now there's a man that can hold his liquor. Pretty sure we downed half a keg. We had a good chat, I think.
Adieu!
I should go.
Same here. I got a date with a cauldron to prepare for.
Aloy. Everything okay with you and Beta? It sounded like you guys had a, lively conversation.
We just had a lot to talk about.
Does this mean she's coming with us to Gemini?
It does. I hope you're ready to rein in the most stubborn AI of all time.
That's what all this was for, wasn't it?
Hephaestus won't go down quietly.
Hephaestus is just a program that's lost its way. We are fighting for our survival. I can always call upon the goddess if you're nervous.
Funny. How does everyone seem to you?
Anxious, but ready. I heard Katalo ask for Alva's help with his pulse generator. And I know he's been helping her with a few fighting techniques, just in case.
I hope they aren't needed.
Like I said, just in case.
Any last findings you want to share before leaving?
Not really. Though I've reached a decision.
Oh?
When we put Gaia together, I want to return to the Nora. Spread what I've learned.
You think they'll listen to you?
In time, I believe so.
If anyone can make it happen, it's you, Varl. What will you and Zoe do if you go back to the Embrace?
I hope she'll come with me. At least for a while. And I'll go with her to Plainsong too. She'll probably want to talk to her people about all this as well. We'll figure it out.
I know you will. I hope firing off those pulse generators will be enough to distract the Zeniths.
It'll work. It has to.
Always optimistic, huh?
Nah, just stubborn. It's a good quality to have when dealing with you.
Yeah, right. You were right, you know, about keeping Rost's memories buried. I guess part of me thought he was holding me back, because he wanted me to be a Nora. But the truth is, he gave me a lot. And I took him for granted.
He was a good man. He raised you well.
C'est vrai qu'il m'a bien élevé, c'était un bon papa. Adieu.
Glad you're coming with me, Varl.
Sure there's no urge to run off alone in there somewhere?
No more running.
Let's go. Bon, je vais devoir mettre fin à ce tunnel de dialogue. Il va falloir que je me casse. Donc on finira tous les tunnels de dialogue plus tard. On ira choper la quête secondaire et on va avancer. Je pensais pas qu'on avancerait pas, enfin, aussi peu aujourd'hui. À cause du jeu de société et des 12 000 dialogues qu'il y avait ici. J'aurais pas cru. Comme quoi la vie est surprenante, hein. Mais bon, c'est la vie, hein. On va faire une petite sauvegarde. Oui. Salut Clément. Bienvenue sur la fin du live. On est à 80 heures de jeu. 79h56 minutes. C'est long. On est à combien d'heures de jeu? Juste pour vérifier. Enfin, de progression dans le jeu. On est à 87%. On n'a pas avancé. C'est énorme. Et bisous YouTube.